After weeks of working on this project, I finally reached the final stage. The levels were done. The gameplay was working. The menus were added. The transitions, death system, and everything needed for the game to function were already there. But before calling this game finished, there were still a few things I wanted to improve. Some final polish, some final adjustments, and then I wanted to do something I had never done before. Actually, release a game. One of the last things I wanted to add was a more interesting enemy. Until now, the enemies in the game were more like simple obstacles, but I wanted to create something that could actually interact with the player. So I decided to make a tracking enemy. For this, I created a separate script specifically for the enemy AI. The idea was simple. The enemy should detect the player and follow them. At first, I wrote the code and tested it, and it worked. Technically, the enemy was following me, but there was a problem. It was only moving on the x-axis. So instead of actually chasing the player, it was just moving left and right. It didn't feel like a real tracking enemy. So I went back into the code, adjusted the movement logic, and changed how the enemy calculated the player's position. After some changes, it finally started following me properly. Now the enemy could move both horizontally and vertically. But then I ran into another problem. I added this AI script to my skeleton enemy. The code worked. The skeleton followed the player. But visually, something felt wrong. Because the skeleton was using the same type of movement, it looked like it was just walking through the air. It didn't feel natural. I could have fixed this by creating a proper collision system for the enemy. I could have made it work more like the player, added more physics, added more complex movement. But considering this was still a simple platformer and this was an early project, I felt like that would add a lot of unnecessary complexity. Sometimes in game development, you have to decide where your time is better spent. So instead of forcing the skeleton to work, I created a new enemy, a bee. And honestly, it worked much better. Because a flying enemy naturally makes sense when it moves in both X and Y directions. Even when it passes through other objects or changes direction, it still feels normal. Sometimes the simplest solution is the better one. After adding the bee, the AI finally felt like it belonged in the game. After finishing the enemy AI, I started thinking about something else. The game was going to be available on the web, and that meant people might not only play it on a computer. Some people might open it on their phones. So I needed to make adjustments for mobile users. I added a phone UI so players could control the game properly on smaller screens. This was something I didn't think about at the beginning. But while preparing the game for release, I realized there are many small things developers have to consider. It's not only about making the game work, it's also about making sure other people can actually play it. After adding the final adjustments, it was finally time. The game was complete. I exported it, prepared everything, and uploaded it to itch.io. And seeing my own game page there was honestly a different feeling. Because throughout this whole process, I was not just following a tutorial. I built this game myself. Every level, every mechanic, every problem I solved, every mistake I made, it all became part of this project. Looking back at where this started, this was just an idea, a simple 2D platformer. But while building it, I learned much more than I expected. I learned how scenes work, how scripts communicate, how gameplay systems are connected, how to solve problems when something doesn't work. And most importantly, I learned what it feels like to actually finish something. Because starting a project is easy, having an idea is easy, but bringing something from the first step all the way to release, that is a completely different experience. And yes, I know this is just a simple platformer. It's not a huge game, it's not a massive project, but it's mine. I built it with the skills I had at the time. I tried to make it as unique as possible. And today, I shipped my first game. I actually made something and put it out into the world. And honestly, that feels pretty amazing. This is the end of my first game development journey, but not the end of learning. There are still so many things I want to improve. Better mechanics, better art, more advanced systems, and bigger projects. But for now, I'm happy that I finished this one, because this game proved something to me. I can start, I can learn, and I can finish. And now, it's time for the next project.